But, I mean, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. This is my fin look. It's like, my name is Finn Shepherd. But you can call me Finn. Everybody else does. You probably know me from being the man who jumped into a shark with a chainsaw while fighting the Sharknado in Los Angeles last year. What you probably don't know is that wasn't my first encounter being inside a shark. It was spring break, 1988. I was a horny teenager at Copacabana Beach looking for three things. A sick wave to ride, a cold beer to drink, and a hot babe to bang. The waves were looking great that day, so I grabbed my board and headed out. God, it's like my camera. I keep losing track of where I was. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it like this. I was having the time of my life when I noticed a girl watching me from the shore. She had perfect tan skin, sexy long blonde hair, and enormous tits, barely concealed under a microscopic bikini. She smiled and waved at me, causing my cock to become as hard as the board I was riding on. I was so distracted by this smoking hot chick. That I didn't notice the wave coming in behind me. I was knocked off my board and fell into the salty ocean water. As I began to swim back to the surface, when I suddenly saw it. I just have to stick my lips out so it doesn't, I'm just gonna have to stick my lips out so it doesn't ride up my face. It was a shark, a male great white, looking at me with big black eyes. I knew I shouldn't be afraid. Oh, I knew I should be afraid, but I wasn't. There was something in those eyes. I could tell it was hunger, but it seemed more like lusting than anything. Okay, I'm sorry. This is gonna have to be a neck beard. He has a neck beard now. Change of character. Expecting it to start swimming towards me. I was surprised when it beckoned with its fin and swam off in the other direction. The message was clear. Follow me. I'll never know why, but I did. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, I'm getting it now. I think I've created a new character. Look at that! I kind of look like a bearded lady at P.T. Barnum's. But now I can put my glasses back on. I don't have to squint. By the way, hello Nerdy Curve and anybody that's just joining in at this time. We are reading shark-themed fan fiction. Okay. We swam down into the ocean, past schools of fish, colorful sea creatures, and coral reefs. At one point, we saw another shark. Wait. Hold on. 2 seconds. Why is my phone going nuts? Hold on. Okay. Don't know why I was doing that. Okay. We swam down into the ocean, past schools of fish, colorful sea creatures, and coral reefs. At one point, we saw another shark. This one, a great white. Was it my imagination? Or did it shoot a look of disgust at the shark I was following before changing its route to avoid us? By this time, I was running out of breath and starting to get worried. Yeah, how has he stayed under... How have I stayed underwater this long? Was I born with, like, some super skill where I can just hold my breath? I'm digging it. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it back to the surface. Just when I thought I was about to reach my end, the shark ducked into a cave. Not knowing what else to do, I followed it inside. That is dangerous. Why would you even follow the shark? You see this? I must have had a coma from wiping out on my board. And I'm literally making rash, bad decisions. Not a coma, concussion. It was a miracle. Inside the cave, I was able to breathe oxygen. But the shark seemed to be doing fine as well. I fell to my knees, grasping for breath. I didn't think things could get any stranger. But then the shark started to speak. Okay, here we go. You can stay in that position, he said, for what we're about to do next. Now, guys, we witnessed how sharks had sex yesterday on Bear Stream, so I don't think this is going to go well for me in my story. Stunned, I stammered. How? The shark smiled, a big toothy grin. This is my magic cave. Here we can both breathe, and we can understand each other. This is where I bring humans who interest me. Interest you? The shark paused before speaking again. I am a shark of few needs. All I need to be satisfied is a fish to eat, an ocean to swim in, and someone to pleasure these. With that, he pointed at a part of his body with his fins. I gasped. He was pointing to his gigantic claspers, his twin shark penises. I didn't understand why, but I felt a stirring in my pants and an irresistible attraction to his oversized sex organs. I've never had sex with a shark before, I whispered. Oh. I've never had sex with a shark before, I whispered quietly. Funny, he replied. I've had sex with more humans than you could count on those fingers of yours. He swam closer so he could whisper his next sentence directly into my ear. But you know, even I had to start somewhere. Suddenly, I could feel his claspers rubbing against my mouth. Ah! Okay, here we go. Oh, God. I didn't know this was going to be a legit sex scene. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay. Is this even allowed? Am I to do this? Yeah, suddenly, I could feel his claspers rubbing against my mouth. But now my boner was harder than the rock walls of the cave we were in. Unable to take it anymore, I opened my mouth and drew the head of one of the claspers into my mouth. No, he said, take both. Good Lord. I've had quite the experience. I let my jaw drop open as far as I could and managed to squeeze the second of his massive cocks inside. I ran my tongue over them, amazed at their smoothness. He began to push them deeper inside, so deep that I almost gagged. I started to move my head back and forth over the sizable lengths. He sighed with pleasure. You're good, he said. Able to fit more than most. Keep at it. Ah! Oh my God. I replied, my mouth too full of shark dong to say anything else. I was working up a rhythm when I felt him grab my hair with his fin. Grab it how? How's he going to grab with a fin? He was the one in control now, rocking my head back and forth. It's like a straight up porn with a shark. They've taken no account. Don't take us. Okay, sorry. Just when I was sure he couldn't go much deeper, much longer than before climax, he pulled out, bringing a long strand of my saliva out with him. Once again, I found myself on my knees, gasping for breath. Now it's my turn, he said, and pulled down my swim trunks. My cock sprang free with delight, colliding with his head. Oh, you're a feisty one. I like it. His mouth started to move towards my very erect penis. Hold on, I said. Trust me, guys. What I asked, won't this hurt? And he grinned and said, of course. But who doesn't like a sight of pain with their pleasure? Pretty sure I don't want, like, shark teeth on my penis. With that, he closed his jaws around my throbbing member, placing it in a gap between his teeth. and began to roughly fillet me. I sometimes still masturbate to the thought of the agony swelled with the ecstasy that ensued. The sides of his teeth hurt so good as they scraped against the sides of my shaft. Meanwhile, his fin found its way to the other side of my body and started gently probing my tight asshole. It was the strangest feeling I've ever experienced, and I wanted more. Fuck! I whispered softly, then screaming, "Oh, fuck!" A great amount of white cum shot down that great white's eager throat. His lips stayed clamped shut over my aching cock as my body shuddered with delight until he had drained even the last bit of jizz from my body. That was a mate, I started to say, but his other fin delicately silenced me before I could finish the thought. Without a word, he turned me around and bent me over. I knew what was coming, but I was so ready. My anus tingled. My anus tingled as I listened to him smearing lube on his claspers. Is that some kind of special lube you found in the ocean? I asked, genuinely curious. He chuckled. Nope. Just some normal human lube. Someone like you gave me. Now quiet. This takes some concentration. He swam closer to me and spread my ass open. Oh, what a butt. What a lovely butt, I heard him say under his breath. I felt his claspers tantalizingly poking where my poop comes out, slowly working their way in through my tightness. Suddenly, without warning, he plunged the full length of his claspers into my awaiting hole. I nearly passed out from the shock of it, but as he began working into a rhythm, my unintentional tears of pain turned into tears of joy. He may have literally torn me a new asshole, but God, it was worth it for that toe-curling pleasure. And somehow, through all of it, it felt so tender and loving, like he really did want me in more than a sexual way. It was beautiful. Fuck, I was falling for a shark. He finally came, and we both collapsed. Both gasping for me for breath and him for water. I never did figure out how that cave worked. My respite didn't last long. However, after about a minute, he pulled me back to my feet. Time to see what you've got, he said with a toothy grin. He lay on his stomach, exposing his shark anus for me. Somehow, I grew even harder. I wanted to fuck the brains out of this creature right now. I restrained myself long enough to tease him out a bit, kissing down his chest before pressing my lips to his delectable asshole. My tongue worked its way around the rim, causing him to moan. Like, why? Why this? Who wrote this? Oh, you're good, he said. Most don't think to do that. I tossed his salad. For another minute before pulling myself up. It was time. I thrust my penis inside the shark, feeling the tight walls of his back door around my rock-hard dick. My own ass wrapped nicely around his anal fin, giving me some extra pleasure. As I fucked him, I brought my mouth back down to his claspers, and with one lick, hardened them again. I took their full length down my throat as my own shaft penetrated him deeper and deeper. I'm not sure how much longer this heavenly experience lasted before we finally came together, ejaculating our sperm inside of each other. Once again, we fell apart, gasping and moaning. "Can I say it this time?" I asked. He nodded. He goes, "That was amazing. Not to sound like Aladdin here, but you just showed me a whole new world." He smiled sheepishly. "And you as well, human. I've always laid with your kind purely for pleasure, but you, somehow, you're different." He looked away sheepishly. "I think I have feelings for you." This is after one sexual encounter. "I think I have feelings for you too," I whispered, and we moved in closer to share a tender kiss. And then it happened. I turned my body towards him. I cut my arm on a rock. It barely hurt, but I took a look at it anyway and saw a small sliver of blood escaping. "It's nothing," I laughed, "just a little scratch." But when I turned back toward him, I knew everything had changed. The shark's bloodlust had taken over. I could see it in his eyes, and I knew I had mere seconds to act. Drawing from my lifeguard training, I punched him in the nose, knocking out one of his teeth in the act. While he was stunned, I grabbed the tooth and I swam as fast as I could to the surface. Thankfully, a boat was sitting only about 50 feet away. "Help!" I yelled. "Shark!" They pulled me aboard and they gave me a towel to dry off. And as I sat there on that boat, returning to shore, I looked down at that shark tooth and I started to sob. The crew chalked it up to shock, but you and I, you know the real truth. I still think about that shark sometimes. I wear his tooth around my neck. I wear his tooth around my neck when I'm out surfing, with the slim hope that I'll run into him again. During the events in LA, what some are calling a sharknado, I was constantly scanning the skies looking for him. He was nowhere to be found. I doubt I'll ever see him again. And after I killed so many of his brethren, I doubt he'd even want to see me. But I will never forget the first time I was inside a shark.